Kathy here from KathysKuteKreations. How can it be week 5 already? Oh my gosh. I hope you've downloaded your paper. We're going to get started on Suddenly Summer, our mystery quilt from Fort Worth Fabric Studios. This is not going to take long. It's 3 different kinds of fabric, all the same size. Well, here, and as you can see in the picture, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make those. So this is probably the borders, I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't have the assembly yet. But let's get started. Alrighty, so here are our 3 colors, A, C, and D. Now they want us to take 8 of the A rectangle, so we're going to take 8 of these. We have 14 total. We have 32 of the C's and 44 of the D's. So make sure you put this in the correct order. Let me line it up for you so we can see what we're doing first. So now you've pulled out 8 whites, 24 of whatever color you're using. And I call this dark and I call this medium, just because of the looking at it. And then we want 28 of the checks or the medium, whatever you're using. And then we're going to put them in a row. We're going to start with this one first, and then we're going to do this one. If I can get my hand on it. So this is what we're doing. I'm going to start with this one, and we're going to end with that color also. Just like that for the very first row. Think of this as very calming and practicing your 1/4 inch, and it'll be really, really neat. And remember now, as we do these, we're going to end up nestling them. So this will help you out with that if you're still new and you haven't had practice with that. We're doing the next row, and then we're going to end like this. And we're just going to do a row at a time. And I'll show you how I'm going to do this. Now, if you have to take a picture with your camera so you know how you've lined it up, then by all means do that. This row is identical to the top row. Just like that. All right. So I will sew these 2, these 2, these 2, these 2, these 2, these 2, because we can chain stitch it like that. Then when we come back, we can connect those and then add those, and that'll all be chain stitching. So we'll just take our time. Turn your music on, get relaxed, and here we go. Now since we're going to make 4 rows of these exact kind, I went ahead and I put my 3. So here's 3 of everything up there. So between that and this, it will be 4. So let's get started. Well, I'm up here in the sewing room, and it's a little after 7 a.m. and my plans kind of changed, because now we're going to go real slow so I don't have to use a leader ender here. Because first I was going to go outside and cut some of my rose bushes, trim them. I'm going to go ahead and cut them and change the bed. But it started raining, and I did not know there was rain today. Now I trimmed them up a little bit yesterday, got them off of the fence, along with hugging the fence there, hanging over the neighbor's fence. And they've got a dish that's right next to the fence. So they were up against that dish, so I got rid of that. Got rid of all the vines trying to cling and climb up the house. I got rid of those. I went ahead and worked in my iris bed and took a couple of the bulbs came up as I was weeding it. But I'm going to transfer that bed totally. So that's what my plans were, was doing the rose bushes today, a little bit this morning, and then a little bit tomorrow before I did this video. But it didn't work out, so I thought, well, what the heck? I'll just come up and do the video. Alright, so let's cut this, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to iron them as I go. I'm going to wait until I've got the whole row done, and then I'll go and iron from the right or the left. Well, here I am, lost in my own thoughts. Forgot to put the camera on. Oh my gosh. I don't have a TV up in this room. Let me cut this. Normally, I would have the TV going while I do my sewing, but my volume quit on my television set. Now, it wasn't a fancy TV. I got it free. It was given to me. And I went out and got the Roku. If y'all know what that is, it's like the what's it called? The fire, like the Fire Stick. But the Roku was on sale last year when they had the Prime, so I got a couple of them. I have one for my TV downstairs and one for up here, because these TVs are super duper old. All right, we're going to take a look at these now that I've got them finished. Alrighty, so the first row is done. I mean, first set, because we got 4 sets. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to iron them. Now, I'll just flip it over. I'll either iron them all to the right or all to the left. Let's say that I iron them to the right. In that case, the second row will go to the left. The third row will go to the right, so they can all be nestled. So I'll just take them over here to the ironing board and do that, and then I'll be back and we'll pin them. Here they all are. They're all ironed. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pin them. Now none of these need to be marked, so that's a good thing. So what you're going to do is, because one's going to the right and one's going to the left, we're going to nestle these. You want to make sure your seams are just like this. That's what you want. And then I'll pin on this top right here so that it doesn't fold down over on me. Just like that. And I'll do every one of these. Just like this. Make sure it's nestled up there really, really good. Put a pin in it. Go to the next one. Same thing. Go to the very last one. Nestle it. And there we have it. Just like that. Okay. I'll sew this entire thing before I attach the next piece. So my question, now that I'm thinking about it, is there any way to check the volume on your TV set to make sure it's really the volume that went out and it's not something else? You know, some kind of check, something to like, for example, I flipped the different channels, I waited a different day and turned it on. The picture's fine, everything's fine about it. The only thing is it doesn't have any sound. I mean, their mouths are moving and all that, but you can't hear anything. So I didn't know if there was some kind of check. Now this is one of those smart TVs, but it's not a new TV, it's an older TV, and it's just a little thing. I think it's like a 23-inch or something. It's just a little video thing. It's not very big. It's not a name brand, I don't believe either. I don't even know what the name of it is. Like I said, I got it for free. So if you guys know any way to test the sound, I don't have speakers or anything like that attached to it, but if there's some kind of troubleshooting that I could do to see if maybe something got clicked off by accident, then let me know and I'll try it out before I actually just trash the TV set. Alrighty, so I'm putting this last row on. I've pinned it to keep it straight on my fabric so it's squared up. Just taking my time when it gets up here to the intersection because I didn't flip it and the little piece is going the opposite direction. They're all nestled. Now we're making 4 like this, and then we will make 2 a different way with the leftover fabric. I'm not quite sure if this is going to go on the sides or the tops. I don't think it'll go through the middle of the quilt. Take that apart and iron it. Okay, so it looks really, really cute. Look at that. Alrighty, that's one of them. So let's get working on the next 3. Alrighty, so what I did was I took my first set, and there's 3 in each stack because, you know, we're making 4 total. And I'm just going to do all of these chain stitching. Now, that's what I would do if I didn't want to do just that one block to show you. I would do it the same way I did it, except I would do it in 4 of the whole set. So that's what I'm going to do this time. So instead of just doing these 2 and then these 2 and these 2, I'll do all 3 of those and then 3 of these and then 3 of these, and I'll lay them all out on top of each other because it'll come out a lot faster if you do it that way. All right, let's get started. Now these are my remaining 3 sets that I have done. All I did was sewed them. That was it. So instead of going up one at a time and ironing it all to the right, ironing it to the left, ironing to the right, I'm going to take one stack, iron it all to the right, put it on the table. Come back, get the next stack. All to the left, put it on the table. next stack, and repeat like that, because it's easier, more efficient, and you won't get confused as whether you're going to the right or the left, so that all these nestle. Now we should have all 4 rows completed, all sewn together and all ironed, and now we're going to make the next set, which is our last set. So let me lay it out here. Alrighty, I've laid them out, and there's only 2 of these, not 4 like the last one. And they're set up a little bit different, so pay attention to your colors. We're going to go ahead and we're going to sew them just like I did before. We're going to sew these 2, these 2, these 2, these 2, these 2, these 2, and then we'll add these and those. So let's get started. So I wanted to just squeak in here real quick and make a comment. So before I started sewing these, before I started this today, I have a zipper that needed to be replaced in a dress. It's just a little sundress for my daughter-in-law. And it was bought at the thrift store, and I went ahead and I got a see-through, for heaven's sakes. I got a invisible zipper. Made sure it was long enough, you know, it was extra long so I could cut some of the little stuff off. And ironed the dickens out of this little sundress. But the sundress is not made out of cotton. It's made out of a bit of canvas fabric, which I'm not quite sure why somebody would make it out of that, because that's a little bit heavy. Well, anyway, it had a, excuse me, it had a seam from the bodice to the bottom of the skirt part. And, you know, I looked it over, I ironed it and everything, but after I got to sewing it, and I had sewed the whole zipper in and went to zip it shut, it got hung up in that spot between the bodice and the skirt. And I'm thinking, okay, what the heck is going on? I mean, it all looked really, really nice. You couldn't even tell I had actually sewn it in there. That thread blended in real well. I get to looking at it, and apparently, now this had a busted zipper. That was the reason I was changing it. It was the zipper down at the bottom. It couldn't be put back on. Somehow it gotten broke. But anyway, so I'm looking at it, and come to find out, I guess a couple of times that whoever had it beforehand went to wear it, they got the zipper caught in the fabric, and so it tore it. And if y'all have any clue about what canvas is like, now this is not a heavyweight canvas, this is a lightweight, but it kind of shredded up the fabric. So that's not going to work, because every time you go to zip it, it's going to put pressure on that, and just before you know it, there'll be a hole in it right where the zipper's at, and it's like, oh my gosh, I could not fix it. I mean, I think they paid like $3 for it or something, so they told me just get rid of it. But you know me, I don't want to just pitch that, so I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. I'm going to go ahead and cut it up and see what I can create. Thinking about a couple of things. I want you to go ahead and put your pieces together and finish sewing this. I'm not going to show you that dress that I just talked about, because this is Fort Worth Fabric Studios, but it did give me an idea of these blocks. Okay, so this is the last strip on the pieces. I'm not going to say what I thought about yet until I get these lined up out here, so you guys can take a look and tell me if you kind of agree, and I'll tell you my train of thought and how I came up with what I came up with here about these strips that we're making, which is kind of funny when you think about it, but hey, I'm pretty sure that y'all will agree, and maybe you'll add your 2 cents, and maybe you'll have thought of something else, but we'll be on the same page here. So go ahead and finish all these up, connect them all, and then we're going to iron them open. Well, actually, we're not going to iron them. We're going to build our little piece first, and then we'll iron them open. Here I am sewing along and totally forgot to put the video on. Oh, Lordy, I got so much stuff going on in my mind. So this is the first 2 strips we're putting together, just like we did before. I'm really excited to see how this is all going to come together and be assembled, y'all. And how I'm going to add that other fabric that I haven't mentioned yet and told you about, which I will tell you about next week. I'll show it to you. I don't have much, but I've got enough. All right, now I'm going to put the 3rd piece on these 2. Okay, here we go. We're going to sew on the last 2 strips, and then I'm going to tell you about the thought that I had. Although this is suddenly summer, it does make me think of picnics because of the fabric colors, choices and all. Let's iron this one and get it open. Alrighty, so you're going to have 2 that look like this when you're done. And I'm going to lay all 6 of them out here so you can see them together. Okay, so you're going to have 2 that look like this with the 3 whites and 4 with the 2 whites. And now, what I was thinking about earlier when I said I'd tell you is that I was thinking about a picnic, because this is what this quilt makes me think of, suddenly summer, because of the watermelon, the popsicles, and the strawberries. I was thinking, so we needed a little yellow in here for the corn on the cob that we have, and this makes me think of the barbecued ribs because of the red, which would represent the barbecue sauce. I don't know where that came from. I'm just saying it popped into my head because I was thinking about barbecues with the suddenly summer quilt. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Believe it or not, I hate to say it, but I didn't make a boo-boo. And give it a thumbs up if you liked. Go ahead and make a comment if you want. Subscribe and click on that little bell so you'll get future notices. And next week will be the assembly of block 6. And let me go ahead and give you a little preview of the fabric that I'm going to use to fix the boo-boo from my watermelon blocks that I made. Here is the sneak peek. This is 3 fabrics, and it's going to be one of these 3 that I'm going to use. Take care, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.